Did you know? There's a haunted toll road just off the A3 where drivers still report seeing a headless sailor. Or, hidden in the Sussex countryside, there's a network of smugglers' tolls that once carried millions of pounds of contraband. This journey, from Farnham to Littlehampton, isn't just about avoiding some A roads. It's about discovering some of the secrets along the way. Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting here in Farnham Park, 320 acres, about 600 years old. Farnham's got loads and loads of history and it's my hometown. Back in the past, bishops ruled from this hilltop fort behind me, and in the Civil War there were huge clashes between the rebels. But that's all for another day. Today we're taking the ride from Surrey down south through Sussex, ultimately passing through Hindhead, Pulborough and finally Littlehampton on the coast. So today's route's about 50 miles through country lanes across the South Downs National Park. But we're not going to be focusing on the route so much today. Today I want to talk about some of the stories and sights that we'll find along the way. So there'll be supernatural sort of hauntings, there'll be ancient pubs and stories about some of the smugglers back in the day. So I hope that sounds good. Let's get going. The enormous natural amphitheatre behind me here is known as the Devil's Punch Bowl. Local legend says that it was formed when the devil himself scooped up a piece of earth to throw at Thor. But the real darkness isn't so much geological, it's what happened on the old Portsmouth Road that used to run through this valley. In 1786, a sailor named James Millward was walking back to his ship after visiting family and stopped in a local inn. He made the fatal mistake of showing 3 men there some money that he'd earned along the way. They proceeded to that night brutally murder him right where we're standing. The 3 men were caught and hanged on a gibbet, erected at the site of the murder. A memorial stone was erected called the Sailor's Stone, which stands just down here by where the old A3 route used to run. Okay, so we've made it to the Sailor's Stone. And believe it or not, that path I was just walking along is actually the route of the old A3. However, when the Hindhead Tunnel was built in 2011, it replaced this piece of road and finally put it to rest. However, locals say that on dark, foggy nights, you can still see and hear a headless figure of the sailor walking around looking for his killers. What's particularly eerie is that when this was the main road, numerous motorists reported the car radios going haywire as they drove past. Okay, let's head to our next stop and go and discover the smugglers who took over the Sussex countryside.
No, I don't need a mansion in Montana. Don't want a penthouse in Perry. No gables and eaves, 4,000 square feet just to fill up things I don't need. And I know to some it makes no sense, but I'm not living just to pay my debts. I've got nothing against that white picket fence or those big American trees. On we go down the endless road. How can we know what tomorrow holds? I know this life gets so heavy, so I'll carry it with you, and I know you'll carry me too, and we'll be home. In Chicago, 'cause here the sunrise view will always be new. Each morning when I wake up with you, someday we'll have our own acre or two. We'll have a garden and a shed for your tools, but for now there's no rush, 'cause we still got so much left to see.
These peaceful wetlands and hills rolling around Pulborough hide a criminal past that shaped the entire region. In the 18th and 19th centuries, this area was the domain of the infamous Hawkhurst gang, smugglers who controlled everything from brandy to tea across the south. What made this area perfect for their operations wasn't its proximity to the coast, but the proximity to hidden tracks, remote farmhouses that provided perfect hideouts. The gang was so powerful that they operated virtually in the open, with local magistrates either bribed or too terrified to intervene. Just north of here, the White Hart Inn was a renowned smugglers' pub, with secret tunnels rumoured to run beneath it. The gang's downfall ultimately came after they ransacked the customs house at Poole and then tortured the customs officer and his family of 6. Public outrage finally turned the tide, and many gang members were tracked down and executed. So legend says that some of the ill-gotten fortune remained hidden in the countryside around here, buried treasure that's never been found. Occasionally, farmers still discover old caches when ploughing fields. Bottles of brandy, tea chests, contraband, all sorts is hidden beneath. The River Arun, which flows nearby, was the major highway for these smugglers, allowing them to move goods inland from the coast. So, time to keep moving, and we're going to discover one of Sussex's oldest and most intriguing pubs. Back to the bike. Okay, so this charming pub, the Black Rabbit, looks innocent enough with its views across Arundel Castle and the South Downs, but this is a 16th century inn, which has loads of history. Like lots of pubs along this stretch of the River Arun, the Black Rabbit has a key part in the smuggling network that operated throughout Sussex. The pub's isolated location, accessible by river but hidden from the main roads, made it perfect for receiving contraband before it was distributed further inland. What's fascinating is that the entire community was involved in this illegal trade. When a smuggling ship was spotted offshore, locals would extinguish the Littlehampton lighthouse to confuse customs officials, while boats laden with contraband would slip into the River Arun under the cover of darkness. Furthermore, the Black Rabbit became notorious for another reason. It's said to be intensely haunted. Staff and customers have reported glasses moving on their own, unexplained cold spots, and a figure of an 18th century man who appears briefly before vanishing. Some believe it's the ghost of a smuggler betrayed by his comrades and murdered to protect their operation. If you visit, be sure to check out the low-beamed room at the back, supposedly where contraband was stored and where the paranormal activity is at its strongest. Okay, I need a drink before we head down to finish our journey at Littlehampton. And here we are, we've made it to the coast, Littlehampton Beach, the end of the journey from Farnham. About 50 miles of some really character-filled roads, stories, and yeah, beautiful weather to go with it as well. So looking back, we had the mysterious Devil's Punch Bowl and its resident ghost, with the tales of the smugglers through Pulborough and haunted Black Rabbit Inn. The route's been packed with stories and I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. If you'd like to see more routes like this, please do leave comments below as to what you've enjoyed, if you've been on this route, or if you've got other areas that you'd like me to cover. I'd really like to hear from you. There's a GPX route link below so you can follow the exact route I've taken, and there's also citations and sources for all the stories that I've been talking about today. I hope you've enjoyed the stories, I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.